Hello, everyone, and welcome to Press Start, the podcast that's anything and everything video games. I'm your host Azure, and today I've got quite an episode for you. Um, wish I knew how to transition these things better and all that, but I'm going to start with this question because I found this one very interesting, and for a lot of people nowadays, probably you know teens and maybe partially of your 20s if you're around that age group. The internet is something that you guys have grown up with. It's not you from the moment you were old enough to start your parents let you use the computer and all that. You've always been around the internet. And even now, the internet is something very pivotal in the world. Oh, what the hell? But it's very pivotal, and it's uh, something that we've all grown accustomed to, everything we all know, and when a lot of people will be very hard pressed to try to imagine what life is without the internet. So this question is that I kind of want to talk about with all of this is would video games continue to exist if the internet just disappeared? Which I thought is to me, it's not a very interesting topic, or it's a very easy question to answer. But I know for a lot of people, like I just preferenced, people might think, oh, games would just be in the past. Games would just die out because there's no internet. You can't play games with other people. All the multiplayer stuff is gone. But the answer I have to this question is no. Would video games continue? Oh, yes. Sorry, I worded that wrong. I meant to say yes. Games would still continue to exist if the internet disappeared. The only thing about it is, it would be such a culture shock. Just if the internet just completely disappeared tomorrow, it'd be a culture shock for everyone. But for younger gamers, they, how do I put this? It'd be very hard for them to figure stuff out. They wouldn't know how to just look up stuff or how to talk to other people or other people that have played the game that have maybe, that's the whole thing. Like back in the day, I didn't have walkthroughs, I didn't have guides. There was books you could have bought. That was the only way you were able to like be like, oh, okay, maybe if I'm stuck at this part or something, or if I want to know like how to get the ultimate weapon, like for RPGs and stuff like that, you'd have to get it because it would tell you step by step process how to do it. If you get stuck on a boss or an area you don't know where to go, you would have to buy the book or just go to like back in the day. I think it was like EB Games or GameStop there in the beginning for a little bit, and just go and look at the book and read. Be like, oh, this is how I do it, and then go home and do it. So for a lot of people, I could see if it disappeared, games would take a little decline for a little bit. Because one, again, they'd have to go back to making games that were pretty much good to go on day one. They were good to ship. They would get to people's houses, people would buy them, and they would run. So at first, I see a little bit of decrease, but after a while, I would see it going back up and just kind of back to where it is now. I will say the whole indie game market I would fear, would almost completely die out, is what would happen. Because a lot of indie developers rely on word of mouth on the internet to get their game out there. So the indie scene would die. I think the indie scene would die, unfortunately. Oh, It would also, I have a lot more to say about this. Why is it all escaping me? I had everything all. It would also cause people to go back because I miss the days. Personally, I miss the days of couch co-op. And I know I joke a lot, and I was about to say to all you youngins out there who don't know what couch co-op is, it's pretty much you go to your friend's house or they come to your house, and you just play multiplayer games in the same room. There's no, oh, let me get online and play. You would have to go to their house to play the game. And honestly, I miss those days. I have so many fond memories of going over to friends' houses and even playing like single player games together, like Resident Evil. Like we would play one of my buddies, me and one of my buddies would play Resident Evil. We would take turns, like we died, like if we died a couple times, then the other person would take over, and we switch back and forth. Or I remember playing Diablo 2. I never, I don't know if I think Diablo 2 was around the time where you could play online multiplayer, but I never played online multiplayer. It was always LAN. And I remember going to my buddy's house, who lived right across the street. Uh, they had three computers that could play Diablo 2. It'd be me, him, and sometimes his uncle would play, and we would just play for hours playing Diablo 2. It was also during that time where Crystal Chronicles was a big game, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Couldn't really play that online because the GameCube didn't have that option, or if it did, you have to buy a separate thing for it. But you also needed, oh, you didn't need, it would help a little bit. Game Boy SPs, I think, was the flip one to play that game with, a lot of extra features and stuff like that that helped. I miss the days of couch co-op because it really incentivized social interaction and not just social interaction on the internet. You actually had to go to someone's house. And as an old man myself, I miss those days. They still happen. They can still happen. You can play these online multiplayer games, take your laptop, your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Switch over to your friend's house and still play, but they don't happen as much as they used to. So I think that would be a good thing for society. For, maybe not society, but for gamers. That just, that couch co op. Just go to a friend's house and play games. Don't do it online. Don't be a shut-in. I mean, we're already gamers, so we're already shut-ins, but don't be more of a shut-in. Leave your house. Go touch some grass. It's good for you. The outside is not a bad thing. So that would be, and there'd be no patches. So if something would break, or you found a glitch. I mean, you could always just do that glitch. The only way that a game would be able to fix the glitch if they come out with like Game of the Year or Greatest Hits, like they used to, or remastering the game or something. Well, there are people that are and have made friend that lives far. Now, see, I'm not going to disagree with you there. Yes, I totally agree. There are just like there are cons to the whole internet and everything, there are pros. I'm not saying that one thing it'd be good for gamers by saying that what we have right now isn't also good for games. I'm just speaking from the fact that I'm old and I miss the days of couch co-op. That's all where I'm speaking. Um, so I guess that's all I have to say about would video games continue to exist if the internet disappeared. Yes, there'd be a little bit of a decline in the beginning, but it would all come back up. And sadly, the indie scene would unfortunately die, or wouldn't be as big, or their games wouldn't get to be known as well. Um, Next thing, this was really interesting because and I didn't fact check this at all. I should have. If I'm going to be a reputable podcast host, I should fact check things, but I didn't because I was looking up stuff as I was eating dinner the other night. Um, Elon Musk reveals Twitter's live stream monetization plans to contend with Twitch, which I think is very interesting because there have already been other live stream platforms like what was it Kick? Wasn't there? Isn't there another one that? So I know like there's Fansly, but that's more of like for the adult stuff mostly. Kick does allow on adult stuff, but when they started, it was just like Twitch, just a different platform. There's YouTube Gaming and YouTube Live, but YouTube will always be able to contend because it's backed by Google, and Google has a ton of money. Um, so it'd be really interesting to see if this is something that does happen. I want to see, we're going to see a whole bunch of either Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, or Kick streamers being poached, like it did back like a few years ago when YouTube and Twitch were giving streamers exclusive contracts saying, "Hey, we'll give you $50 million for 4 years if you stream on our platform and only our platform." And I won't lie. I mean, OBS will probably do something where it'll integrate like it does. Oh wait, I don't know if it does. I don't know if OBS does. I know Streamlabs did, but if there's a way where I can stream to both, I can see myself doing it to see just how it works, just to say I did it and stream to both platforms at once. But I don't know if Twitter or X will be able to contend with Twitch. In all honesty, because Twitch has been around. Twitch has gone through a bunch of controversies that I probably don't know of, but just I can just assume that it has because of the streamers. Like YouTube went through, like has gone through a couple controversies. Like there's the whole the adpocalypse that happened, and YouTube gaming and YouTube streaming and all that is still going. Twitch has probably been through a bunch, and it's still going. So I don't think contend. I don't even think it'll contend. I think it'll just be an option, just like Kick is right now. Kick was supposed to come around to be, a contender to Twitch, but now it's just kind of like a meme. I know some people stream on Kick, and it still kind of has a bit of an ecosystem, but at the same time, it's not something that anyone is gonna ever think is gonna take over Twitch. So I don't, unless he adds like a bunch of features or stuff like that will put it over the top, make it better than Twitch. I don't see Twitch going anywhere. I don't even think, yeah, I don't, it's not even going to be able to contend with Twitch. See, I haven't been on Kick, so I have no idea. I've just heard things about Kick. And at the moment, I don't have any reason to go over there to go look at stuff. And probably never will. Um, Now, this was a question. This is something that I have thought about with how the console wars and how everything's going and how how companies are buying studios to be able to make the games that those studios make to be exclusive to their console. And it's something I think at a time in 2024, should there be one console? And I'm excluding PC because PC isn't a console. Should there be only one console? Instead of there being PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, should it be that I should there be something that is just one? Because at this point, like I'm pretty sure like the gaming parts of each of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo can just come together and be like, yeah, we're all just going to work together, make one console, because all we care about is the gamers, and just making a good experience for them instead of fighting tooth and nail, forcing people, fighting tooth and nail, buying up studios, forcing these studios' games to be just on there, and forcing gamers to spend, like, right now, what is it? PlayStation and Xbox, if you wanted a brand new console of the newest ones. So I'm pretty sure there might be some pre-owned, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's going to cost you about $1,000 plus a Switch. That's about 1,300 $1,300 US dollars just to be able to play every game. And now I understand that's a pipe dream, and that'll never happen. But I think it should. I think console wars at this point is just something that shouldn't be. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. Not in 2024. Maybe back in the day when exclusives were more, how can I put this, more specific to each console. Because like for a while there, like if you wanted to play like a good RPG and all that, or like those types of games, you went to Sony, you went to PlayStation. You wanted to play more like shooters, uh, action adventure kind of things, I guess. Maybe, but mostly like shooters because Halo, what at the time was an Xbox exclusive. You went to Xbox, and then Switch kind of had the like kiddie kind of games, but it also had like at the time or still Mario, had Legend of Zelda. I just don't think we should. I think there should be one console at this point. And then also, and I'm not saying this because I'm strictly computer. I have, like I said, I have a laptop, I have a Switch, I have a PlayStation 5. I play on the Switch, I play on the PlayStation 5. For the longest time, I mean, I still am a Sony fanboy, but all I played mostly was on consoles. And I'm saying this knowing that probably the answer is no, but should every exclusive I thought this was a good question, but I'm thinking about it, it's not a very good question because not many Nintendo exclusives are on PC, but should every exclusive be on PC? And I say that because, I mean, at this point, it would just cause anyone to be PC now that I think about it. I thought this was a good question in my head, but now that I'm thinking about it, because you can get a budget-friendly PC or laptop from like $600, which isn't too much more than a console. So if every exclusive was on PC, consoles just wouldn't be a thing. So never mind. That was a very stupid question. I thought that was going to be better, but that was 100% wrong. I'm okay to admit my mistakes. This one though is interesting, and it is should big studios. This was another one of my questions. Sometimes I just come up with questions because I like these questions and trying to be still learning how to do podcasts correctly and all that. But should big studios focus more right now on remaking or remastering older classics so that because we've seen a big uptick in a lot of people wanting to play retro games, and all that, and people wanting to know like where a lot of the games, how do I put it, where the game's coming from, like their origins and what gaming was like before, or should they focus more on making new games? And this came to me because, except for like Baldur's Gate, I think I guess I have to make a caveat or like adjust this question a little bit more. By even if they are working on remaking or remastering old games, they're still going to have a portion of the studio focusing on new games, but not forcing them out to where they can take their time. Because I think that what needs to happen. Not one because at this point, uh, like a lot of the my generation gamers, the millennials, uh, they are starting to have kids or have had kids and are that are get to that age to where they want to, where the kids are like, have picked up gaming, watching their mom or dad play games, probably wanting like, oh, what kind of games did you play when you were a younger, dad or mom or whatnot? Uh, so I think it would actually really help and it do a good thing for the gaming community if they focused more on remaking, remastering old games, in my opinion, because a lot of the new games just aren't that great. To be 100% honest, they just aren't. Like Baldur's Gate was the last great one, and that's recent. And people are probably gonna call me out and be like, "Azure, what about this game? What about that game? What about Final Fantasy 15?" Don't talk to me about Final Fantasy 16. Sorry, that is not a great game. What about Lethal Company and all these other games? They're good, but there's more misses than hits. So I personally think we should be focusing more on older games, remaking, remastering them, giving more time for whatever part of the studio to make newer games that, instead of coming out with a new game from the same studio every year or whatnot, have them come out every 2 or 3 years. So where they actually work. That would be the best thing. But I don't know. This could just, like I said, everything I say can just be from the fact that I'm an old man, which I know I am. And another thing I want brought back that I just now thought about this, and it's not something I went to a lot when I was a kid, but I know anytime I went to a place that had this, I know I would go and play, and I wish there were. I mean, there probably are more of them around, but with my actual 9 to 5 or 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. job, I don't get the chance to go to these places anymore. Arcades and arcade cabinets need to come back and be more of a thing. I miss the fuck out of arcades. I was never really good at any of the games in an arcade, so I wouldn't be able to spend like a lot of time on them or to get like far in the game or get good because, you'd also put like quarter or you have to get tokens or whatever. But I really want arcades to be more of a thing. I want them to come back. And I know that they are because I know I've been places where there's arcades. I know there's a place up in Ohio. Yeah, up in Ohio where they have like it is an adult arcade bar where they have a miniature form of bowling called duck bowling. They have a nice big bar. They have pool tables. They have skeet ball. They have other games, and then there's this whole half of it that's just a whole bunch of classic arcade games, and they're free. You can just go in there, bring no money, and just play. Possibly. They might expect you to pay, get a drink or something. But I mean, because I don't know, I went there, I paid for duck bowling. I had like 5 or 6 drinks. They were all like video game themed drinks, all delicious. I got pretty, I can't say hammered, but I did have a good buzz going, and would just played some games of duck bowling, and then just enjoyed an arcade. Played like Galaga, uh, uh, I played some other games I can't remember. I just remember playing Galaga because I always enjoyed Galaga. See, I would love even that, even if they were just a quarter to play the game. I am okay with. I just want arcades to be more popular again, just to be more accessible. Because I mean, I'm, was it? There's introvert, extrovert. Was it omnivert? And I think omnivert is both, has can be extroverted and can be introverted. And I think that's what I am because I can. Like at times I'm introverted, at times I'm extroverted. Though ambivert, there it is, ambivert. I forgot. I knew it was something. Uh, Even though a lot of people would say like I'm like very extroverted, which I mean, I can be once I actually get to know you and very comfortable around you. I'm just talkative. I'm just all over the place. So it's like, but I would love to go to an arcade, even if I'm like in a mood to where it's like I don't really want to leave the house. I would love to go to an arcade and just by myself and just go around playing games, playing these older games that I grew up on, that I know of, that I remember watching my older brother play. I don't know like, why. I mean, I understand why they went away because probably for a while there, once consoles actually started getting big, no one went to arcades because they can just buy the game once and play it at home all the time instead of going to an arcade and playing, paying, however much money they want to spend just to keep playing the game. And at arcade, it's kind of highly, I can't say highly advised, but I guess they really like don't want people to hog up the machines. So they would if someone was taking forever out, like spending most of the time on the machine, some worker would probably come and tell you, "Hey, you need to get off the machine. Other people want to use it." So I can see, I know why arcades went away, but arcades need to come back. I would literally do a setup, however I would have to IRL stream me going to an arcade and just spending hours playing games. That would be the shit, and I'd love the fuck out of that because arcades are just great. If you've never been to an arcade, you should. I highly recommend it, and it's the best. Um, this is something that I've always like. I've always, I guess, wondered because people always say, "Oh, you're only like." I don't really know like how to word it. How I've heard people say it, but people say video games are addictive, and I don't. I can see why they would be, why people would say that, but I don't think they are. It's just like anything. Anything can be addicted. Anything can be addicting, and it's all about. How do I put this? How do I put this? How do I word this correctly? I don't think they are. And if someone is, man, I just don't think they are. I'm pretty sure I could find something that would satisfy or that I can, kill time with for entertainment. I mean, I guess I'm saying like if I really wanted to. Maybe I am addicted to video games. maybe I have to change my whole thing. Yeah, video games are addicting. They do give like sort of a dopamine rush or serotonin, whatever those are. And it's if you meet all your friends and everything on there, that's how you get your. Okay, so yeah, never mind. I changed my mind really quick. I'm all over the place. I just I have talked. I guess on this out. This has been a much shorter video than I thought, but that's fine. Sometimes that happens. Maybe with solo episodes, maybe podcasts will just be 30 minutes or 30 to 45 minutes instead of a full hour, because it is a lot to fill a whole hour just by myself. So maybe 30 to 45 minutes would be better. Uh, but I wanted like games coming out in January. That's probably what I'll do at the beginning of the month or everything for games coming out in case people miss or don't know. But some of the big games coming out in January. We have Prince of Persia, the newest one, which I'm kind of excited for because from what I've heard, it's going to be like a Metroidvania mixed with a Souls-like, which sounds very interesting. That comes out January 18th, so actually in only a couple days, and it's all consoles. Uh, Another one I'm kind of excited for, and I might actually buy this one and be the first Yakuza game I play. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, January 24th, all consoles. Uh, This one I actually have to look up. Under Night in Birth 2, January 25th, all consoles but Xbox. And then Tekken comes out January 26th, all but Switch. I'm not really a big fan of fighting games very much. I'll play them, but it's not something like I look forward to. But yeah, I mean, I will start my Yakuza journey on whichever one I want. You are not the boss of me. Well, I mean, not the boss of me on that. But yeah, I guess. And as always, opening up to questions from chat. I mean, yeah, you do you. And to anyone here who's here, for the first time and all that, I take any question. I take questions from chat. Any questions could be anything I said, anything on this episode, or just in general gaming questions. Whatever you have at me, whatever you want to ask me, ask away. I will answer. If it's something that I don't have an answer for, I will tell you. Anything? Insert Jeopardy theme here. If not, that's a-okay. I don't want to force you guys to ask me any questions. I just want to make sure I don't end the episode before letting a chance for people to have questions. What do you think is like the biggest breakthrough made in games? Okay, so what do I think is the biggest breakthrough made in games? It's very interesting. I don't biggest breakthrough. I think honestly, and I'll pair both of these questions because I the second one goes into the first one. So Mixie asks, "What do you think is the biggest? Is like the biggest breakthrough made in games?" And then Osiris asks, "What do you think about motion control games?" The biggest breakthrough in games is motion controlled games. The Wii. I think when the Wii came out, it really opened the door for where the next evolution of gaming took place, which is VR. Because VR, I think we would have gotten the VR one way or another, but I think it probably got sped up with the fact that the Wii came out. because I know the Wii came out. I think then I think the Xbox camera came out, or maybe the Xbox was before it, but the Xbox camera and all that, the Kinect wasn't as good as the Wii was. And then PlayStation, was it Move? I think it is. Whatever the PlayStation one is, either came out before the Wii or after the Wii, and that one still wasn't that great. The Wii, Nintendo really got down motion controlled games, and because of how they had it with the sensor and all that, and the bar, and then went to the Wii U, which without having a sensor bar on it, just like a weight or something in it to steer for like Mario Kart and stuff like that. Those two consoles really moved VR ahead. And I think without those, I think probably by this time, or maybe a year or two ago, like I think that is when VR would have really started to get going. I think that's when uh what was the first ones? Like the Oculus, the first Oculus would have came out, whichever the Vive I think was the first one. They would have come out much later than what they did. So that's what I think. The Wii and the Wii U, motion control. And I enjoy motion control games. I love the Wii. The Wii was great. It was innovative. They took a chance. I wish I wish more games on the Switch made use of the motion control. And like I said, there probably is. Just the games I play don't really use much of it. I probably have to go and find specific games. But I wish even like basic games. I don't know why I said basic, but games like what am I playing? I'm playing Bravely Default 2 right now. I wish a lot of like RPGs and stuff like that use more of the motion control games because it's good. You're playing games, and I mean a lot of the games you can just sit down and do motion control, but it incentivizes you to get up and move around and exercise a bit, which I think is a great thing, and it makes it fun. It's not like, oh man, I got to go exercise because a lot of people not like exercising because it is, I can't say tedious, but some people think it is. But being able to do something fun like playing video games with motion control games that incentivizes you to stand up, move around, do things, I think more games need to do that. But that will be it for today for this episode, unless any other questions. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Um, but yeah, that'll be it for tonight for this episode. Thank you everyone for coming. I do these every Sunday night, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Twitch at twitch.tv/Azure Games. Um, it's but there you get and all that. Um, come here, be a part of the chat, ask your questions if you have any. Um, I really need to figure out how to correctly end these and not just drag on my sentences. But y'all have a good rest of your night, and I will see you in next week. Bye bye.